Evening, everyone. Welcome to the United Stand and welcome to tonight's live show. Mixing up the panel again for you tonight, guys. I've got Jordan, Levin, and Beth with me tonight. Looking ahead, finally, International Week is over, thank God. And we can actually look forward to, well, we'll get into it in a minute, but we know what's coming on Saturday and we're all excited for it. First of all, guys, how are we all doing? We're all looking forward to this weekend?
I'm so excited not to watch it.
Oh yeah, Beth unfortunately chose this game not to go. It was pre-planned, wasn't it, Beth? And you are devastated, no doubt.
Yeah, gutted. Let's not talk about it. I mean, let's talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Unfortunately for you, Beth, we have to talk about it. Speaking of talking about it, Jordan, I'll come to you first, mate. The man himself has been talking. He's been bigging it up. He's here to win things. He's here to make Manchester United better than what they are already. He's talking a good game, mate. I mean, did you listen to much of what he said in his interview today? And what do you reckon to it so far, mate? Sounds good to me.
Yeah, do you know what it is that some players sign for clubs and they give that speech and they talk and it's full of hot air when, you know, I've joined the biggest club in the world and I'm here to win titles and I'm here to this, here to do that. But when he speaks with such like conviction and passion for a club that clearly means a lot to him. And it's that enthusiasm and that professionalism that we hope knocks on to everyone else around the changing room. No one in that changing room now is going to want to look Ronaldo in the eye and say, I didn't deliver and I lay you down. Do you know what I mean? He's literally a leader, a man amongst boys. Like it's brilliant to see.
That's it. I mean, Levin, mate, because he's been here before, you actually know that what he's saying is coming from the heart because he actually knows what this club is about. He knows what it means to the fans. It's not just like Jordan said, them playing to the fans. He's actually speaking from the heart. He knows what getting back to the top of this Premier League and competing at the top means to these fans. You can just feel it when he speaks, can't you, mate?
Yeah, honestly, it's why it feels so surreal. Do you know what I mean? Even when you're seeing like the training pics and stuff, because like you say, this is someone that actually does have like a, you know, we've gotten to the stage, where we all like laugh and joke about how, you know, Ollie's always trying to bring back people who've been at the club and, you know, you got to bring in specialists instead of bringing in all these, you know, people who are just here and know what it's about. But like, this guy really knows what it's about. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, you can tell from the way he speaks. Obviously, it's a shame, you know, we're not going to be able to, if you're like me and you're not going to the match, it's a shame we're not going to be able to watch it. But look, I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. And I think, like many who know what Ronaldo's about, how can you not know what he's about? You know, he's about scoring goals and he's going to do that for us. And like you say, it's going to be about whether that's enough to sort of lift the rest of the team forward, which I really believe it will. You know, you saw the impact of just Varane and, you know, how people talked about the atmosphere when Varane came in, you know, with Ronaldo, that is tenfold. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, Beth, he's played to the fans a little bit by saying they've seen me grow here. The United fans, in Ronaldo's word, understand what he's about. They understand his ambitions. They understand what he wants from the game, and he's just willingness to succeed and keep on bettering himself each time. And he's talking 3 or 4 years here in the way he's speaking, Beth. He's in this not for a quick fix or a big payday or a vacation, as he says in his eyes, but he is here to win and take United back to the top. We've got that one-tracked mind winning mentality player here, and it's just making me more and more excited, Beth. I mean, I don't know about you, but you know he's going to back it up. What he says, you just know he's going to back it up. He's just got that to come with him, hasn't he?
That's the thing. When we first signed him and people were doubting it, whether he was still good enough on social media, I just ignored it all because I've continued to watch Ronaldo, obviously, since he's been at United. And I feel like I know him as a player because I've watched him that much and I've watched his documentaries and everything like that. And the stats don't lie. He's just the best that there is. And he's not coming here just to stop doing that. He wants to continue to be the best. He thinks he can win things. He also wants personal accolades as well. And he's not going to stop. He's a massive winner. Like in the Euros, we've seen it in the World Cups in previous years. You can be down and Ronaldo will come back and he'll be putting in not a great performance and he'll score you 2 goals to win it. I mean, look at the Ireland game as well. He's got such good leadership. He knows the game so well. When he was coaching Portugal from the sideline, he's been in the game for so long and he's the only player apart from De Gea and Phil Jones that have actually won a title with Manchester United now that's there. So he's got that title winning mentality. He knows what the mentality was like when we did win the title, and he knows modern football as well. So it's like a mix of everything. And I just think him in that team with other leaders such as even Cavani, even though he's not going to be playing, he's a leader, he's a winner. We saw that in the Europa League final. Like, he was one of the only players that turned up, and players like Bruno, Pogba, elite players with this mentality, adding the elitist into that, and it makes them better, and it also makes the people who are slacking a little bit better, because you're not going to slack while Ronaldo's around. So I think it just put massive pressure on Ole to do something this season. I mean, people say it doesn't have to be straight away, but if you see that team on paper, I know the other teams are good, but you've got to start getting up there now. There's literally no excuses, and a CDM isn't one either, because you've chosen to buy Ronaldo and you've got the best player in the world, so it's automatically a massive advantage for you.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Levin there looks like he's sat down in Ronaldo's living room there with that backdrop that he's got going on there, mate. Quality, mate. I'm loving it. But you touched on it a second ago, Levin. The excitement. I mean, I'm like you. I was exactly like you. When I seen them pictures of Ronaldo on the training ground for the first time, I was like, oh, God. It's actually it. This is happening now, isn't it, mate? It's what it is. And do you know what? Bev talks about that elitism and that mentality, that winning mentality. But you know, with Ronaldo, and you've seen it just in the pictures, mate, how humble he is and how much he's willing to help his teammates improve as well. And that, looking at him with the young kids, a few of the youth team players around him in training there, I mean, he's getting goosebumps just watching the little video clips that the club have put out and just seeing the pictures, mate. But it's like Jordan touched on it there, Beth, as well. He is going to be so influential going forward, and he's going to expect things this season, mate.
Yeah, it's sort of like, you know, when you look at, you know, you look at what people say when they talk about Roy Keane and you know, how he was sort of like the manager on the pitch, and Ronaldo isn't necessarily, you know, like Roy Keane in that sense, but in terms of what he demands on the pitch, you know, he's not gonna stand for certain shit on the pitch. You know, that's just the reality. You know what I mean? He's gonna demand the players to work at their hardest and to do everything they can to win, because that's what he looks to do. You know what I mean? So in that sense, like, you sort of have this guy who is very much, you know, he has an obsession with winning. It's a very, very it's something you only find in some of the most successful people, you know, on earth. And that's very valuable to us. I think, you know, more so than just what he brings, because obviously, yeah, like, you know, on the football side of things, you know, you can talk endlessly about it. But when you're talking about like the clips and the pictures and stuff, that's also a massive thing. Like, the club know that it's more than just a football signing, right? Like, what, you know, bringing Ronaldo back represents for us in terms of, you know, our strides to get back to the top, get back to where we know our club should be. You know, this symbolizes everything. It's like we're bringing back this guy who was here when we were, you know, at the mountaintop. And regardless of what you think has happened over the past, you know, couple of years with Ole as the manager and whatnot, we are getting closer to that than we've ever been, right? You know, while Sir Alex has been gone. So, you know, bringing this guy back now who really epitomizes that is so, like, it's just on so many levels. Like, it's just like the belief that we now, like, there's genuinely people who, you know, believe now that, yo, we actually can go and get 21, you know, where, you know, some people didn't have that same sort of belief. So I'm just excited. I'm just excited. I'm trying to keep my excitement in for, you know, when the game comes and you know, I hear on the radio or whatever that, you know, he's scored a hat trick and that, and then you can, you know, I just want to hit. I want to see the
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Bruno and Varane will actually think that they can do it this year, because Varane was saying that he thought when he joined. I mean, when Romano was on the show, he was saying Varane thinks that United are on track to win a title, like, very, very soon, and that's why I wanted to join. And Ronaldo would not join somewhere where he doesn't see them winning something. So it's nice to know that them players who have won a lot of things actually do see this team winning something.
That's it. I mean, Jordan, he's coming there. He's already teasing there, and I think he's just being nice personally in what he says. And now he's going to push Ole to try and pick him to start a game. I had to giggle to myself when he said that, mate. But straight away, Beth touched on it there. It's not just him, mate. He's got he's got winners around him now as well, who are expecting to be lifting trophies by the end of the season now.
Yeah, no, it's funny you should say it, because I remember when I did my demo tape for United Stand, the one thing I said was that we'd signed Bruno, but we needed other Avengers across the pitch, players that could help Bruno off if Bruno's having an off day, a solid spine. And we've got that now. We've got those players that can win games on their own, can drag other players around them up if they're having a tough game. The thing about Ronaldo is I remember reading something about Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy was obsessed with scoring goals, and that as soon as a game would finish, he would check and see if his rivals had scored. That's what's running through Ronaldo's veins. He like he's saying, he ain't coming here for a holiday. Do you mean you ain't going to Manchester for a holiday? He could have went out to America and kicked back and chilled in LA and scored a bag full of goals out there. He's coming here, like Beth said, personal accolades, winning titles. That's what it's about. And we now have players around him that can definitely do that.
100%.
Other than Fred.
Well, we'll get into a bit of the team selection in a second, actually. But sorry, I had a mic issue early part of the video, guys. I think it's all sorted now anyway. I think the sound is better. So cheers for letting us know on that one, guys. But Beth, I'll come to you next. I mean, Ronaldo wants to start this weekend. We've actually had quite a few players who haven't really kicked a ball in anger or competitively now for a couple of weeks, obviously because of the debacle with South America. We've had our South American players resting. Cavani, he's going to be gunning for a start this weekend as well. We spoke about him fighting with Ronaldo for that number 9 spot. So, I mean, looking at it, I've just seen a super chat there from Dan as well saying, are you confident that Ronaldo is going to start against Newcastle? He's talking it up. He's trained. We know he's match sharp. He's starting, any Beth?
I mean, he's got to. He's got to start. The thing is, though, that this is how you know, like, Ollie's management is a little bit mad. You still believe that he might not do it, like, even though it literally is Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's ready at any point, but he's trained now. He was playing for Portugal, like, literally straight away. He's match fit. He's always fit. He trained when he was in quarantine. You've got to start him. In my mind, there's no doubts whether he will start him. The only tiny thing in the back of my head is like, it's Ollie, and he makes decisions like this sometimes. So if he didn't start, I'd be gutted, but I'd kind of expect it with Solskjaer. But he's got to start him, surely. You can't bench a player that is literally holds the records for everything in the world and is automatically going to make your team better. You go into a game thinking, how do I win this game and what is my best chance of winning this game? And in every single lineup of your best chance of winning that game, Ronaldo's in there every time. And it is sad for Cavani because he's been waiting to get a start. I think he was gutted he weren't in the Southampton squad. He then had to stay while it was international week. And he's probably not going to start now. And I don't know if Ollie in his head will think, maybe I should start Cavani. But at the end of the day, if it was anyone else, then yeah, Cavani would start. But it's Ronaldo. It's just tough sometimes.
This is it. I mean, Jordan, mate, I've been monitoring the fan base, the comments, social media, and how everyone's on the expectation levels. Obviously, it seems like an age ago now when we played Wolves, but the fans are really expecting. They're expecting things to happen now, and we've got the start of the Champions League, the Carabao Cup coming as well in the next couple of weeks. There's no time now really to sort of test and hope and sort of ease our way in. It's now or never. We can't really be slacking. We've got tough games in the Carabao Cup. I mean, West Ham, where are they at? We don't know with the Europa League. Obviously, young boys, first game away from home in Europe. For us, fans there, we've seen how difficult it's been for England with fans back in these stadiums, passionate fans. So there's no time for really to be messing around, Jordan. He's got to get into these games. We've got to be winning these next few games in all competitions just to really put ourselves in good stead now going forward, because it's business time now, mate.
Oh, it is. And that's what life is like at the top. It's relentless. Even dropping points, draws, it isn't good enough, especially with the players that he signed. And it's funny enough, I did the Insta Live thing. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and Ollie screamed out for more signings, and I know Beth says a lot of the signings that he's had are not his signings, so on and so forth.
God, but all I said is that Donny wasn't.
Let me just poke you just a little bit.
She's rattled.
I had
Wild
a long
FC.
day, Jordan. Don't set me off because you'll get the treatment that Bill got. I swear to God.
So yeah, the issue is that more signings means more pressure because there's now no excuses. The attention now will be on Ollie. The Glazers have done what they wanted to do, which is deflect all attention and negativity away from themselves and put it onto the manager. So it really is now sink or swim. And I think with that squad, it's important that Ollie identifies games for certain players and uses it to his fullest. Like you said, we should be competitive now in every competition. We've not won a trophy for a long time. We need to win silverware this season. That then is progression for that manager. There will be games which will be Cavani games. There will be games which will be Ronaldo games. There may be games where we look at and go, do you know what? Let's go a little bit gun-ho, and we have to play both of them up there and go 4-4-2. So it's important that Ollie and the coaches identify what games are suited to what personnel in that squad.
Yeah, I mean, Levin, mate, one man, ex-United player. I absolutely loved Dimitar Berbatov when he was at the club, mate. He's putting United as one of the title favourites now that Ronaldo's in. I mean,
not wrong.
He's played alongside him. He knows the deal, mate, better than anyone. And we know Berbatov's standards are set high. He's got a high bar. Ronaldo is one above him. Can the rest of this team keep up with Ronaldo, mate? Can they match his... I don't know how to put it best in words, but can they match his ambition is probably the best way I can put it across. What do you reckon in terms of that team? We talked about the big players that are there now, but I'm talking about the Rashfords, the Martial type players, you know what I mean? Freds, Donnies, if he ever gets a chance, and all these sort of not as on the big stage sort of players, but obviously we know they've got potential. Can Ronaldo bring out that potential?
Yeah, most definitely. Like you look at it and it almost links back to what I was saying earlier. It's like all those players will now have way more hope and belief in themselves. Like, oh my goodness, like they look at it's funny because obviously he's gone now, yeah. But I remember like when the Ronaldo thing got announced, I was like, imagine being Dan James, yeah, and you've just finished training, like you're in the changing room and like you look to your left and you just see Cristiano Ronaldo and you're thinking like, oh, hold on a minute. Do you know what I mean? And like all these players will sort of have an increased sense of belief that they can go out and do it. And, you know, at the end of the day, even with or without Ronaldo, like you would have thought that a lot of those would have that anyway. Like if you look at the likes of like the England lads, for example, like Rashford, Maguire, Shaw, these are people who were just playing in the final of the Euros. Do you know what I mean? They will be hungry to finally, you know, win something with their club. You know, we have people in the squad who have won trophies at their other respective clubs like Donny and whatnot. So, you know, these players will be hungry to, you know, get success again. And I think there's no better time than now. In terms of Berbatov putting us as favourites, look, you know, a lot of people who aren't United fans that I know put us as favourites as well now. You know, they look at the players we have and the talent we have, and they think, you know, how can United not be challenging? And I think to a certain degree, yeah, like, you know, I think you can definitely look at the football side of things and tactical side of things and go, oh, there are issues here and here. But ultimately what, you know, the majority of people who consume football are looking at, they're looking at the names of the people we have in our squad. And they're going, I don't care who you have as manager, you should be competing for titles with that level of quality in your team. And to some degree, even though we see week in, week out the issues in our team, a lot of those people are right in saying that, like, yeah, we should be challenging. Like that is, you know, we talk about Ollie's progression and how he's improved things. What's the next step progression-wise? The next step has to be for us to go out and win something. You know, that's part of the progression, especially for a lot of the young lads to be able to get that experience and develop that drive and hunger. So, yeah, we should be challenging. We should be in it. I've said on the channel before, I think we have a better chance in Champions League than the league, but regardless, you know, we should be competing in everything.
Yeah, on everything, Beth, there. And is there a chance? I mean, I'm looking at the hype right now, and we all know I've been inundated with people asking for tickets for the Newcastle game. The hype is there. Everyone wants to be at the club. The expectation levels have just gone through the roof. And Levin said it there, Beth. It's like we have to be competing for everything. I've said exactly the same thing. Is there a chance, or is there a case for Ollie to actually play a Ronaldo in a Carabao Cup game against West Ham? Is he going to make sure that he gets his name on a trophy by just making no mistake? He's got a good enough squad to do this now. Can you see Ronaldo coming into some of the Carabao Cup games, even the way it's going, the way, because we know he's fit enough to play it out? Is there a bit part rolling him there? Is Ollie going to chance him in the Carabao Cup? Can you see that happening at all with the amount of games we've got?
I feel like the further along in the competition we go in the Carabao Cup, that's when Ronaldo will start to come in, because the further along you go, the more you think, oh, this could actually be one of the easiest chances I have at a trophy. I mean, the Carabao Cup is usually Man City, so, maybe we'll just scrap that one off and try and move on to the next
Beth.
one.
It's not then. Don't give them that. Don't give them that pleasure.
I mean, they beat us every time, Adam. What do you expect?
Yes, I told you to stop.
But yeah, the thing is with Ollie, one of his downfalls last season is that he put too much pressure on a lot of the players and overused a lot of the players. I don't want that to be happening this year. I don't want it to be the exact same starting lineup in every single competition. Like last time it was Bruno, Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani, literally every single time. And it just does put a lot of stress on them players. So I think now we've got Varane, Maguire and Lindelof, I think that'll change up. I do think Cavani's going to have to play in at least the Carabao Cup games. I mean, you begged someone to stay. And it's not as if Cavani's like a striker that you don't trust. He was literally our be-all and end-all at the end of last year. He was a great addition for us, and he got us over the line in so many games. So I think you'd be fine without playing Ronaldo in some of them games, which I think you are going to have to. One, just to manage the squad, and two, to make everyone feel involved and to give players some rest. So I don't think he has to play him, but I think, say you get to a semi-final or final, then that's when you are playing your best team, because you've got your best chance of winning. I mean, talking about Champions League, he's playing every single game. You're talking about even latter stages of the FA Cup. I think it's a great chance for United this year, the FA Cup, bit of trophy, probably one of the best we've got. So Ollie will be looking at it, and he likes, when he trusts players and he's safe with players, he likes to just keep on playing them every single game. We saw it with Rashford. So it wouldn't surprise me, but I do think he has to manage his squad and utilise his squad as well. You've got a big squad of great players, and as a good manager would be able to get the best out in all of them. And you've got to win games sometimes with a slightly weaker squad, and it's just how it is in football with all the games that there is.
Yeah, I mean, weaker squad. I don't know. We touched on this, Jordan, I think on the Sunday show. I think me, Beth and Jay, I think it was, we're talking about this. We've had a few players on international duty who are not guaranteed start for the football club, mate, having decent international breaks. I mean, is there anyone out there that has done enough for you to maybe warrant knocking on Ollie's door and starting this game this weekend for you? Do you see any of them? The likes of Martial having decent games for France? I mean, there's a few out there, mate, but how are they going to get a chance?
Yeah, no, and I'm just, for the record, I'm so glad the international break's over.
Second
I just feel like there's a lot of competition in those places, and Ollie's already made his mind up. I mean, it's not one of those things where Ollie's waiting to see what certain players do on the training field. He knows who he wants to play. I think it's great that Martial's gone away with France, and hopefully he has built him up some confidence. I thought he looked good. He just seems to play with a lot less pressure for France than he does for Man United. But we've seen other players like that. Dan James, who's now moved on for Wales. He plays completely different. Lingard going to West Ham plays completely different. I feel like the stage at Old Trafford is just much greater and a much bigger pressure cooker than a lot of other levels. So I think he's made his mind up.
I'm totally echoing everything you said there. That pressure level at United, it'll sink or it'll swim you on. A lot of players have come to United with big reputation players have come and absolutely just sunk to the bottom. I mean, it is a tough place to play. The expectation level is at a different level at Old Trafford, and we've seen players, like I said, who just haven't been able to hack it. I mean, that's the niceties out of the way, Beth. I'm going to come to you now.
I was going to say, I kind of could see Martial maybe possibly getting a shout,
Oh, now there's a shout. I mean, I'm looking at it. I was going to come to you, actually, Beth, on this question.
She's only saying that because I said the opposite. That's the only reason.
No. Just wait for Adam to ask a question and what I say. Go on.
Right. Okay. So we're looking at it. You think Martial's had decent game? There's a chance that Ollie may pick him. So I'm going to throw Jadon Sancho's trained all week. We just had player of the month, Mason Greenwood. Cavani is fresh as a daisy. Ronaldo, we've all said he's starting. So, Beth, where does he come in? Because Paul Pogba's probably going to come in. Is he going to play central because there's room there right now? Or does he come out on the left as well? For me, Martial is behind a few. So, dare Ollie drop Mason Greenwood? I said this before on social media, and I was like, there's not a chance he can drop Greenwood. And I'm thinking about it, I'm going, it's Ollie. Is there that?
He won't drop
Is there a
Greenwood.
chance? Is there a chance though, Ollie?
I honestly think I could see Ronaldo starting up front, Greenwood on the right, and I could see Martial starting on the left with Matic and Pogba in the centre midfield role. I don't think he'll play Donny there, even though we want him to. He just doesn't seem to want to play him ever. And he's literally last choice. So until Matic gets injured or Pogba gets injured, I don't see him having a chance.
Oh, have we lost her?
Oh,
Hey.
Mid-flow.
Oh dear.
Should we give her a second or move on?
yeah.
Am I still there?
Yeah,
we can't see you. We can hear you, but we can't see you. Oh no! Okay. Yeah, no. Wonderful.
There we go.
Wonderful.
Carry on. But we're talking. I think you was near the midfield Donny situation. I think.
Yeah, so I was saying I'd love to see Donny playing there. I don't think it'll happen. I think he'll revert back to Pogba and Matic, but let's wait and see. And then I could see Martial coming on the left, Ronaldo playing up front, and then Greenwood on the right. I don't think he'll drop Greenwood. He's in great form. But I think Sancho is a droppable player. I know he was 73 million, but he didn't do amazingly in the last game. I know he's going to take time to settle in. And Ollie does tend to stay loyal to his players that he likes. And I do think he likes Martial because he always has given him a chance and played him when he has the opportunity to. And I think now he has scored for France. I'm not saying it's nailed on that he's going to start, but I do think there is a possibility that he will start. He covers when he gets back. I think he's a good creator when he goes forward. He's not very selfish when he's on the left wing. And Sancho, all he can use the excuse, well, Sancho had a knock. That's an excuse he can use. So I'm not saying he's going to start, but I'm saying don't rule it out because he started Southampton when nobody thought he was going to.
What I'd say about Martial is the big thing with Martial, and I saw Carl Anker from The Athletic make this point, and it was a great point, is you look at Martial, especially last year, you know, you look at the way Ollie would talk about him, you know, would be very personal, always saying positive things about him, calling him Anto and all these kind of things. And it's very much because you look at last season and, you know, he almost had to rely on Martial as a striker. And you look at just, you know, in recent times where he's sort of relying on Martial as a striker and relying on him to get back to, you know, the form that we saw the season before last, right? You know, I think people, obviously, you know, we all have short-term memory and all these kind of things, but like Cavani played 26 games in the Premier last season, only started 13. Like for most of last season, Cavani was like a phenomenal plan B, and it was only really when Martial was like out injured and his form was, you know, gone, where we really had to rely on Cavani. And I do think in an ideal world where, you know, we didn't sign Ronaldo, it would have very much been the same thing where he would have looked to try and get Martial back to, because, you know, he likes Martial. He's shown he likes Martial and he sees a player in Martial. But this is the key now, is with Ronaldo coming in, he doesn't have to rely on Martial as a striker, right? Because he has Ronaldo. Cavani obviously is the best possible plan B in the world. You know, Cavani gets subbed on in games and, you know, changes things up completely. So I really do want to see how he treats Martial now that he doesn't have to rely on him as a striker. Because it was all good and well, you know, being lovely and really backing him and supporting him when he sort of needed to, because he, you know, he's his plan A striker. But now that he's not, I really do want to see what happens. And in general, I think, you know, like you sort of said, Beth, I think Martial's best chance in the squad is to get in as a left winger. Yeah. And if he wants to play consistently, he's going to have to change up his game to get in as a left winger, because regardless of what you think, I know it's a massive debate in our fan base of Martial versus Rashford and what people think there. Regardless of what you think of those two players, that's a more winnable sort of battle for Martial than Martial Ronaldo. So, yeah. you know, he's got to play wide.
That there and what Levin just said there. Remember when we were all talking about the Martial and Rashford debate, and now they're just, you know what, we've moved so far on to the likes of Cavani and Ronaldo. It's like, oh my God, you sometimes forget that Rashford and Martial are there. And they used to be our saviors. We used to look at them and they were playing
like York and Cole, weren't they?
Yeah, it was like they were our future, and that was it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still a chance when Rashford can come back firing, but we touched on the midfield there, Jordan, mate. Are we saying that Fred and McTominay are not available and Donny still can't get a game?
I wouldn't put it past Ollie. I mean, in the words of my good friend,
you know it.
In the words of my good friend Beth, he's just not Ollie signing. Go on, Beth. Have a bite. Have a bite. Go on.
I'm not, because it's just not suitable for live YouTube. So go on.
Past the watershed now. Go for it, Beth.
No, listen, I think, we've been screaming out for a player to pick the ball up in midfield and release the creative players quicker. And Donny definitely can do that. And I just really hope that he is given that opportunity now, because for me, that would be, the icing on the cake this season, if he just gets a good run of games, 8 to 10 games, to really see what he can do in a correct position. Now we're that bit more solid at the back with Varane coming in. We don't need that double defensive pivot. Let's try and be creative.
Oh God, yeah. It did look really good in that Everton game. I know it was only a friendly. I was there for that 45 minutes of something different, and it was just like, how are we going to see it? Is this the moment? And the season started, and it was just wiped out in one fell swoop. It was gone. I mean, do you think?
Sorry, that's quite. Do you think his confidence is? Do you think his confidence is just shot to bits now? Like, even when he has played well, he's just immediately dropped.
I'm gonna bring in the.
You've got to have belief in yourself.
I was going to bring in
that level. You've got to have some sort of belief in yourself, surely.
He does, because he's backed up what his agent said. Funnily enough, an agent talking sense in Donny's agent when he spoke the other day, saying you don't expect a manager to give you guarantees. It's down to the player, his client, Donny van der Beek, to make Ollie pick him, prove that he's good enough to play for the football club. So Donny, he must have something there, like Beth said. Then he must have some confidence in his own ability to make it into this United team at some point. He's just, when he gets that chance, call it unfair or not, he just has to pull up trees instantly, I think, with Ollie to show him that he's good enough to play. I don't think it's hard to say it's not fair, but
how though? Because the other players in that position don't pull up trees every game.
Well, this is the argument against it. This is why he said it's hard to say it's fair or it's not fair, because some will say Donny's not pulled up tree, he's not played well when he's come in. But then I agree with you, Beth. Fred has been horrendous, absolutely horrendous, and I don't know how he wants a spot in the team ahead of him, because unless Ollie's thinking he doesn't want to play him there at all, and he's thinking of a role further forward, if that's the case, then he's never going to start all season.
Do you know what I found mad in that Donny interview? He said he thought his best position in our team was a number 8/6. And then Rio said, is that what the manager wants of you? And he says he didn't know. He didn't know what the manager wanted him to do, what position.
That's concerning.
How was Ollie not
really worrying?
I was watching it, and like Rio didn't even react. I was like, how has Ollie not said to you, your way of getting in this team is being the best in this position? He doesn't even know what position he's going to get into. He says he thinks himself it's this position, but Ollie hasn't even told him that. How, as a coach, when you're literally someone who's fighting to get in a team, have you not told them how they can do it and where they need to work on and how they can get there? I just think that was a little bit crazy to me.
Have we seen a similar scenario to Fred, Jordan, when he first came in? Took ages to see him, maybe 2 years before we really started seeing consistent Fred. Is it very similar? It was under a different manager then. I mean, I don't know if Ollie's got anywhere near the sort of coaching credentials that Jose's got. I'm guessing not, because we all know he's new to the job. I mean, would you be confident as a player if, like what Beth said then, within that interview, it didn't look like Donny knew what the message was coming across from the coach?
Yeah, I thought that was slightly worrying, and I don't think they would have been happy with that behind the scenes, that he's come out and said that. We talk about what Ollie and what his greatest strength in terms of management, we like to think is his man management. And for me, managing that Van der Beek situation, Ollie putting his arm around him and telling him, look, your chance is going to come, bide your time, keep doing what you're doing in training, you're going to get opportunities, so on and so forth. But when you're sat there watching Fred stink the place out on a regular basis, and then when you do get a chance, you actually play well and look decent, and then the next game you're dropped, it's got to be disheartening. And yeah, we're saying, these players should have self-confidence and whatnot. But, he's going into his second year. Like, something's got to give. Like, he's got to get an opportunity. He's got to get a run of games.
That's it. Everyone in the comments, I want one straight answer now before we move on. Is Ronaldo starting this weekend? Are you confident Ollie is going to pick him? Over 1 million people have put him in their Premier League team.
Are we all one of them?
No, not revealing my FPL secrets.
Oh,
Beth,
no,
just Beth, just look up in the league. You'll be able to see my team.
He's in.
I mean, I don't have to
Beth.
actually click on your name. All I have to do is click on Jay's name because you like to copy.
Oh yeah, because I'm very close to Jay. We're not running.
That's it. Copy.
So sour, Beth. So sour.
Don't provoke me.
Don't. She's still annoyed that she's not going to be able to watch Ronaldo's second coming debut.
Please stop reminding me. Like, it should be one of the best weekends, but I literally looked at it. I was like, why is it International Week this week? What a joke. Well, I've got nothing on.
Yeah, this seriously has been the longest international break on record. 100%, it has been the longest one on record. I don't care. It felt like an absolute lifetime. We were just going on. I spoke about this the other day. I just wanted to get your opinions on it, guys. I mean, the way football's moving with the agents coming out talking and whatnot, it now seems like there's a change in tact with a lot of players. I mean, Jesse Lingard and his agent coming out now after the window's shut, and then coming out with a comment he wants reassurances on his place in the team. We just struggled to get Martial and Rashford into this team in a Carabao Cup game, and Jesse Lingard is wanting reassurances, or his agent's asking for reassurances about signing a deal. Are we now seeing, with what's happened in the summer, mate, in football, all these big names now just running the contracts down? I mean, is this the way it's going now with these big? Is there a change in tact now with these players?
Look, I think it's two things, and we don't necessarily have all the insight in the world. So I'm not. It's hard because obviously, if it is, he's running under contract, being a bit of a mercenary or whatever, I think we don't necessarily know if that's what it is simply, right? Because I think it could be two things. I think it'd either be that where he is deciding, look, I'm going to run out my contract. If you're not going to play me, then I'll just leave on a free. I have full power, player power, all this. At the same time, it could be, he's been told, look, we'll give you a new contract here if you want to stay, and we're going to play you. And he might just be going, okay, I will sign a new contract, but you like you've told me to play me, then play me. If you play me, I'll sign a new contract, right? It could be either of those two things. And because we don't know, it's hard for me to sit here and be like, players nowadays. But if it's the first thing and he is running out his contract, it's a shame because I've always seen him as someone who, really loves the club and just wants to be here, right? But if it's the second thing, I think fair enough, right? If you've been told you're going to get playing time and that you're getting a new contract, instead of signing your life away where you're just going to sit on the bench, and we know how that went for him last year. Last year, he's spoken about how it wasn't good for him and he wasn't in a good place and he needed to get that loan move. So fair enough if he's going to, say, look, if you're actually going to play me, yeah, I'll sign. But if not, then I will just leave my time. He's done. Fair enough. But I'm not sure which one it is yet. So.
I said it, Jordan. I thought it was more agent pushed than Jesse himself. Personally, I think the agents have got a lot to say for themselves these days. But it's like Mbappe going to be leaving for Real Madrid on a free. I mean, Messi leaving on a free. Pogba and Lingard probably leaving us on frees next summer, mate. We've got work to do if this is the case now. I think the players have started to look at it a different way. Do you think it's the agents that have pushed them more this way, though?
Yeah, do you know what I was going to say? We're living in a mad world where all of a sudden these agents are trying to become personalities and fight for headlines. Like, remember a time where the agent just fell back and didn't say anything and just worked in the shadows. Now all of a sudden they want to be celebrities and do interviews and stuff. It's mad. But there definitely is a trend, which we're seeing, which is players running down contracts and whatnot, and that's for a number of different reasons that we don't need to get into. I don't ever think that it's a coincidence that these players end up in these situations. So like it's all planned out. Agents are very calculated people. They will look at it and be like, listen, the money you're getting now for this West Ham move or Leicester or whoever it is, no, wait a year, run the contract down. The ball quickly moves in a contract from being in the club's side to being in the player's side. As soon as they go from 3 years, the club's comfortable. 2 years, it's rocky. And then suddenly they're down to 1 year. So suddenly he can now start negotiating with clubs, and a better caliber of clubs might come in for Lingard now because they'll look at it and go, well, there's no transfer fee now. So I don't think it was Ollie sitting down saying to him, you're going to get opportunities. He's not stupid. He can look around that dressing room and he can see the challenges that are ahead of him. So no, I think it was calculated and planned.
Yeah, you say that, Jordan, but You say that, Jordan, and I'm not sorry for cutting you off, Adam. You say that, and that's fair enough, because if that's the case, then yeah. But you know, when you have Ollie saying stuff like, "I would have started him if he wasn't ill,"
it's easy to say that afterwards as well, isn't it?
It's easy to say that to the press.
But he didn't need to, because we know that Ollie won't always tell the truth to the press, right? Like we know this, but he didn't need to say that. Like he actually didn't need to say that. So
There's lots of things Ollie have said that he didn't need to say. When he said about there's certain players that won't be and they're getting moved on, he didn't move anyone on.
But my point is that because we don't know, and that's why I just don't feel comfortable sitting there and going, Lingard, like this is a calculated thing by Lingard's agent. And it could be. Maybe I'll be completely wrong in this, but because I'm just saying that we don't know for certain that that's the case. He might have been told that he has a chance to be in the squad and whatnot. And we know things change at the end of the day, because look, you're right, things might have changed. We literally just saw an example where things changed. Dan James was told he was in the squad. 2 days later, he sold, right? So, you know, maybe this is another example of where these things have changed. Maybe it's a case where before we got Ronaldo, he was told, actually, yeah, maybe you do have a chance. But now with Ronaldo, it's like, you are further down the pecking order. Obviously, the transfer window is done, so he can't leave. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's like, okay, well, if I'm not going to get a chance, then I will run my contract down. But like I said, we don't know yet. So.
It's like Donny. Ollie blocked the move on Donny to Everton. Why are you doing that if you're not going to play him? So that's like kind of guaranteeing him game time. Like, I feel like Donny and Lingard are kind of in similar situations where they can't get into the team. But Donny, for me, should have more of a chance, even though I think Lingard's got more of a chance under Ollie. It's just weird. Why won't you let these players go? Why haven't you sold Lingard if you're not going to play them?
I mean, do you reckon that was media spun about the Everton move being blocked? Because his agent did come out and say, look, conversation has been had, and obviously we're happy with what Ollie said and we're moving forwards. I mean, it could have been spun again. And I mean, who's to say that agents haven't got people out spinning crap in the media as well, just to stir the pot and get things rolling? Do you know what I mean? There's all sorts that could be in place there. I mean, does these, Beth, we talked about Donny, if players are going to see these contracts out, does that give an opportunity to the likes of Donny then? If we're not going to get transfer fees and have money to invest, is this a long-term look at how it may be and how Donny might be looking at it? If Jesse doesn't sign, Pogba doesn't sign, is that when a 6-year contract that Donny signed up to, is that where he's thinking possibly I may have a chance, if you look at it that way?
Possibly, because, I mean, I think a lot of people have spoken about it, that the club might have thought that Pogba was going to leave and Donny kind of was his replacement. Obviously, that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And now he's stuck on the bench. So you could look at it that way because, I mean, if you don't get the money for Lingard, I mean, before Lingard even had that spell, I think we expected 15-ish mil. Now he's upped his price to around 30, which is great. Personally, for me, I can't understand why the club didn't sell him. If he's going to, I mean, you can see it coming from a mile away. You're not going to play me. I run my contract down. It's what everyone does now. And he will literally be able to leave for free when you could have got 30 million. And for what? A game in the Carabao Cup that you get out of him. I think it's just bad decisions from the board. And then with Pogba, the fact that we've not sorted out what's happening with him, how many years have we had? And they've had that situation with Pogba before and they've still not learned and they've not sorted anything out or put any plans in place. I think it's on the board, really. But yeah, that could mean that Donny finally gets a chance. But is that what it's come to? These players literally have to leave on freeze for a Dutch international that's got a lot of talent to even get a look in the side. Then you're still going to play McFred over him because they're not going anywhere. I think if Donny wants to get into this side, Solskjaer needs to give him a proper run of games and give him a chance because I think he deserves one. I mean, not many players would have been as patient as he's been and so positive and hardworking and speak still highly around the football club. And I think players with his ability, I'm not saying get someone from the youth system and give him a few games and let them have a chance. He's got experience in Champions League. He's been to a Europa League final. He's one of Ajax's best talents that everyone was thinking about. And there's a space for him in that team. We are weak in the deep midfield position that we saw him play against Southampton, and I thought he played really, really well. So against Everton, I thought he played really, really well. I think the manager just has. He must have a problem with the way he plays. He surely does. But if you have a problem with the way he plays, why haven't you sorted that out in the coaching and training? I can't wrap my head around it, to be honest.
Is that because he wasn't one of Ollie's signings, Beth?
I don't think he was. I've said it time and time again. I don't think he was one of Ollie's signings. Ollie wanted Jack Grealish.
Could well be.
Villa stayed up, and the board got Donny as a cheaper option. That's my theory on it. I don't know if it's true, but if you really wanted a player, you're not going to bench him for a year and give him absolutely no minutes. It doesn't make sense.
You're not the only one who thinks that, by the way. Plenty of people out there who do as well. But go on, Levin. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I think a lot of people don't necessarily, from a footballing side of things, I think there's a lot of people who don't understand why Donny hasn't necessarily gotten a chance. And I think that there's certain things that you can look to where, when you look at our squads at the moment, ultimately, I think Ollie looks at our team and goes, the best holding midfielder that I have week in, week out, sadly, is probably Fred, right? It would be Matic, but, we spoke about Matic before, the whole legs thing. He gets pressed away too easy now because he's too slow. So he looks at it and he goes, Fred's the best holding midfielder I've got. Now, you got to put someone next to Fred who you think can work in that position. And oftentimes the problem that we have, and the reason why I think McTominay became that go-to partner, is because you look at Fred and Fred's weaknesses is Fred will lose the ball in advanced positions and he doesn't track back instantly. Fred tries to win the ball back and he gets caught out. Even in the training video we just saw a couple of days ago, right, where you see, I think it's with Hannibal or something, right? And instead of getting back into the space where Hannibal can exploit, Fred just tries to go and tackle him, right? His first instinct is always, win the ball back. And the problem with that is when he doesn't, you get exploited. And you saw it against Wolves where Dharma is just running straight, but Dharma doesn't even see Fred, right? And when you have McTominay next to him, McTominay is more aware in that sense. And so McTominay covers for Fred a lot of the time and they both cover for each other. And I think that's where, Ollie looks at it and goes, okay, I have something that works there, where both of them, and neither of them are necessarily spectacular, but they cover each other and, there's a bit of solidity there. Whereas when you have, they form a good partnership, whether you like them or not. In that sense, they do form that. The problem with Pogba and Donny is the fact that both of them are two people who are typically going to be more advanced than Fred anyway. And so they're not there to provide that cover for Fred when Fred messes up or he misplaces a pass or he doesn't make the right defensive decision. and Donny is very much like that. Donny likes to bomb and get into the box, right? He does that incredibly well. And so he can't necessarily provide that cover. And I think that is what is the biggest issue we have, where I hate to point fingers at Fred again, but it literally comes down to that a lot of the time for me. I think, Donny will have to show that, defensively he's matured in that sense and that he can make the right decision when it comes to being able to cover Fred. Because whoever plays next to Fred has part of their job role is to cover for Fred when he makes a mistake, right? And from what we've seen of Donny, he does loads of things very well. We can all say 3 things each that Donny does well, but when we've seen him, covering Fred isn't one of those things, right? He, typically he's higher up the pitch than whoever his partner is. So I think that's one of the main footballing reasons why we've not seen Donny. And hopefully he understands that and he can mature in that sense. Because I think if he did do that well, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because he would just be playing instead of McTominay or Pogba. Maybe not Pogba, but he would just be playing more often next to Fred. Because I think ultimately Ollie just feels like he has to play Fred in some capacity.
I do feel like you could play McTominay and Donny together, though. I really do think that. I think that could work.
It could work in theory. I think there was a couple of games where they did play together last season, and it wasn't too bad. And I think in theory that could work. I think again you just worry about, you have two players that sort of want to do similar things in different ways, of course, but similar things where they both want to be getting forward more so. And
Fred always gets forward, though. Do you not think?
Fred gets forward,
I'm like, what are you doing?
But
Fred scares me. Fred scares me when he goes forward.
Aimlessly, he gets forward. Yeah. He gets forward, though.
Fred gets forward, but he has McTominay to cover, right? And Fred gets, he doesn't get forward as much, right? Whereas, McTominay isn't spending the majority of the game covering for Fred. It's more so the other way around. And just McTominay covers sometimes. So I get what you're saying, Matt.
I get what you're saying, and I agree with you that is the situation that we're in. We're playing the two people to do one person's job. There are midfielders out there that are more than capable of doing what both those players are doing. And hopefully the fact that we've strengthened around our midfield will bail us out this season. But it's definitely something we've got to rectify next summer.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to our man Zane again. His
Zane's
usual
back.
midweek contribution. He's in the house talking. Well, you can all see it. I don't have to read it out. Well, a better ad, really. A better ad. But Zane, you deserve the shout out, mate, because you are such a good contributor to the channel. Bring it on. Conte Revolution is coming. Some party emoji. Arteta edit out. Sancho not performed so far. Well, Sancho's hardly played so far.
He's had like one start.
This is it. The season is young, and I don't think we're really going to. I think I said, in terms of the Donny situation and going forward, if he's going to get game time, I was sort of looking around that January time when it just gets absolutely mental. I'm not sure it's the African Cup of Nations as well this year. Is that on?
Yeah, it is, but we won't be affected really.
No, I'm just looking at the opportunity to push home with some of the other teams around us having certain players out, especially
Liverpool having a nightmare.
Wow, yeah. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's a good opportunity. It's a good chance to go and attack it. But again, Zane, I had to just shout you out there, mate, to be honest. But Kev wants you to play the piano. Glory, glory, Man United, 11, mate, in the back there. If you get a chance, mate, later before you finish up.
Yeah. Look, Jordan was the one that bought it. You know, I'm everyone's sitting here going, you know, bloody hell, 11 nice house. I'm just staying over at Jordan's place for the week. So, you know, shout out Jordan. It's for the DJ money.
I told you before we went live, Mikasa Sukasa. Anytime you want, you're all welcome. Everyone's welcome other than Beth.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Well, we're doing this show every Thursday now, guys. So when we've got a chance just to mix it up at the end, I'm just going to throw something out there for everyone to get involved in. We're talking about combinations there. We're talking about duos. Fred McTominay. Oh, God, no, it still doesn't sound right. But I just want everyone to get involved in it. So I'm going to ask the guys and Beth on the panel what their all-time, while you've been watching or supporting Manchester United, your all-time double acts. And that can be anywhere on the pitch. I'm going to go first so it gives you a chance just to sort of think of one. This can be right wing, right back, centre midfield, centre-back partnership, a keeper and a defender. Well, you've been watching it with plenty of forwards, I know, but my pick is I'm going to go with David Beckham and Gary Neville, simply because Gary Neville was a good defender, but I thought David Beckham made him look better than what he actually was going through the years. But the telepathy, is that, if that's how you even say it, just the sync that them two were in, going down the right-hand side, was just ridiculous. It's like they knew exactly where we were going. I don't think United ever got beat down the right-hand side when them two were playing together. And Fergie knew it, and he knew how to play them. Guys, I'm going to come. I don't know who to pick first, actually. Beth, I'm going to come to you first. While you've watched United, best combo. So it's got to be two. Can't be three. It's got to be two, a double act. Can be anything, anywhere on the pitch, or even throw a swerve ball in. Two players that you thought always linked well together when they played. Any position on the pitch.
The thing is, it's hard for me because obviously I've only been really, really like engaged and watching football, like not.
This is why I'm intrigued about I'm intrigued what you're going to say. Actually, that's why I wanted to know.
Obviously, like Rooney, Ronaldo, like obviously I was watching it then, but I wasn't like. You know what I mean? Like properly like into it. Like
it stood out.
That I can remember. Like I watch it back and stuff, but it's not to that point. I'm going to go with when I was really, 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 really getting into football. And I'm going to go with Rooney and Van Persie for me in that year that we won the league. Just watching that play was great for me. And I thought that was when I was really getting into my football, and obviously we won the league, and then I've had nothing but misery since. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go for, because I thought Van Persie won us the league that year, and Rooney was a player that I absolutely loved.
Yeah, talking about that season after was the season I started bringing my son Alpha to football, and all he knows is from David Moyes forward. He knows nothing else.
Oh my God. I was like the last 2 years,
Bedded.
and then it was Moyes. And I remember Moyes coming in. Obviously, at the time, I didn't know as much about football as I do now. I was like, yes, got David Moyes in.
I
know what this.
Oh man! But everyone in the comments, you come up with some absolute blinders there. I picked that. But just a shout out to Beth's one there, Rooney. You just have to give credit to Wayne Rooney because the amount of partnerships he had at Manchester United in his time showed you the character that he was and how adaptable he was to every player. And that shows you how good Wayne Rooney was. So I just wanted to shout that one out there that Beth picked up because it wasn't just Van Persie. He had a few people in the comments have brought him up as well. So Wayne Rooney, absolute quality player for Manchester United. I just thought that deserved a shout out. That Levin, you're next, mate. Who's the combo?
I think when you look at all of our history as a club, and you look at all the wonderful footballers that have played together all across the pitch, I think there's no way you can say to me that McFred isn't the best partnership we've ever seen at Manchester United.
I'm just saying, Smalling and Jones in the comments.
I don't think you can make an argument for anyone other than Fred and McTominay. I think what they've been able to do has just been spectacular, leaps and bounds above everybody else. But if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't going to be McFred, I'd probably have to say, obviously, I'd probably go for Vidic and Ferdinand. I think obviously there's a lot of attacking, combinations you can think of, but growing up for me, it was very much, I was quite tall, right? I'm still quite tall. I say it like I was quite tall, and playing football, I used to get pushed back, right? So when I first started playing, I wanted to be a striker, got pushed back into the midfield, and eventually I started getting pushed back as a defender, right? Because everyone's like, "Yo, man, play at the back." And so obviously I was thinking, okay, who can I be like? Because that's all I ever cared about, in primary school and stuff. Who can I pretend I am on the pitch? And I always wanted to be Ferdinand. My PE teacher looked like Ferdinand. Shout out Mr. Campbell. Don't know where he is in life now, but looked like him. And I'm actually from Peckham, where Ferdinand's from and where he grew up. So I used to be able to I used to think like Ferdinand. I'm not trying to be like him. So yeah, Ferdinand with me definitely at the back.
Yeah, and guys in the comment, don't be afraid to show your age either. Don't be afraid to go right back. I just seen a George Best and Dennis Law one on the comments there. Absolutely loving that one. Yeah,
that's the beauty of our club. Ask the Man City fan, they're struggling. Do you know what I mean? We can go back ages.
It's like people are actually automatically thinking of an outside of the box one now rather than an obvious one. So someone just did a great one there. Stephen Thomas there, Jemba as a combo.
Do you know what could be an iconic
double barrel name? I like that one.
Do you know what could be an iconic combo in years to come that people might look back and say? Bruno and Ronaldo. That could be the next one.
Portuguese Magnificos. That could actually be it. Jordan, you're up, mate. What are you throwing at us?
Yeah. For me, it has to be York and Cole. And the reasons why is that we dominated English football then, but we went around and were like, we're taking the best player from any team if they want to sell or not. We took York, we took Cole, and I always remember the Coca-Cola Cup growing up. My mum would allow me to watch a football game every now and again because she hated football, and but if there was ever a big final, we'd get to watch it. And seeing York and Cole absolutely destroy teams together, and that link up, that telepathic link up between them, absolutely priceless.
Yeah, mate, I can still. I mean, everyone's big memory was that step over 1-2 goal at Barcelona in the 3-3 game. I think with York and Cole, that was synchronization at its best. It was just off the scale. Good that I could not. I was sat there like that. I'm like, what just happened there? That was ridiculous, man. I mean, guys, we'll do this in another way. There can be worsts. They can be bests of all sorts. We'll do this every Thursday just to mix it up when we've got time. Obviously, there may be a lot of other subjects going on when we get into the next few weeks because United are never going to be in the Europa League again. So Thursday nights are always going to be free, guys. That's the most important thing. Thursday nights are free every week, and we're going to do this. That's the commitment and the trust and the faith I've got in my team going forward. Don't let me down, for God's sake. Don't let me down. And please, that person there who said Fellaini and Bebe, yeah, that'll come under another one of these shows. But before we go, guys, obviously, we've got to get what we think the scoreline is going to be. I mean, it's not far away now. I'm literally counting down days. One more day, And then we're into game day. What score are we having, Beth? What are we going for Newcastle?
Going to go with 3-0 to United. Not going to concede because Varane and Maguire are just not going to concede from now on. I'm putting that
The
out
new
there.
Ferdinand and Vidic right there.
The new Ferdinand and Vidic might be one of the names to come in when the United stand's still going in years to come. And then I think Ronnie, if he starts, he'll score. And I think we've got enough attacking talent to take Newcastle out. I mean, we didn't start well last season. We still ended up beating them 4-1. So I'm going to go 3-0. Nice little 3-0.
3-0. Nice tie there. Jordan, what score are we having, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. I think we will end up conceding a stupid goal somehow. But I think Old Trafford will be bouncing. 2 goals from Ronnie, 1 from Bruno. 3-1.
3-1. Levin, are you confident?
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I think every single prediction I've had this year, I always get people who DM me like, "Yo, Levin, what do you think?" And I've said 3-0 every single game. Hasn't worked. But honestly, like that's just how I feel. Like I feel every game we go into, I think, why can't we win 3-0? So 3-0, yeah. Ronaldo brace. I think Maguire header, and just because someone said I shouldn't,
That's it. Hopefully, we're all feeling sorry for Steve Bruce on Sunday morning, reading the papers about his troubles. Sorry, Bruce.
What's your prediction, Adam?
Oh, God, I don't have to. I'm hosting. No, I'm not joking. I'm going to go. Do you know what? I'm really confident. I'm stupidly confident. I can see us doing a 5-0 on him. I really can.
I like that.
I can.
Wow. Okay.
I can see. It's just too. I've watched that Newcastle team play and try and defend, and they can't defend. They just can't defend, and we've just got too much. I'm looking. Do you know what? Little things like Martial just having a good international break. Little things like that to come off the bench give me more confidence than anything. I know the personnel who we expect to start, but knowing that there's people on that bench now who are right, I've got to do this now, or I'm not going to get back in the team. So I'm looking at that now, and the bench is what gives me confidence. We've got a ridiculous amount of quality in this squad, and I'm going to keep backing it, and we should be fighting for the title. And I expect to have my feet up by about 70 minutes tomorrow. On Saturday against Newcastle at Old Trafford. I expect to be comfortably tucking into whatever food or whatever I'm drinking there, just chilling out, watching some good football. I don't expect a stressful afternoon. I'll be upset if we are, and you'll all see that in my fan vlog. But don't forget, guys, to tune in to the fan vlogs. Jordan, you're doing one as well, aren't you, on Saturday? Is that right?
Yeah, I'll do one after the game. So yeah, look out for that.
I mean, I could do one, but it'll be live from Park Life. So.
But you know
I'd actually like to see that.
I live at the back. I live at the back of Park Life. I can hear the testing going on right now.
Oh my God, Adam! So you live really near me.
Why would you?
I literally live like 10 minutes away.
Don't dox yourself in front of all the thousands of people.
Yeah. Hold it down. Hold it.
It's just about to say then, Beth. Don't say where you are because everyone knows where Park Life is.
I'm just about to say where I live.
Yes, guys, we're going to wrap the show up right there now, so no one gives anything away. But guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, comments have been bang on tonight, especially on the combos at the end of the show there, guys, and the super chats. Thanks for all the contributions. Don't forget to give the video a like, share the video, and of course subscribe. We are killing it right now, and there's loads of content coming up. Like I said, it's going to be mental these next few weeks. But for now, guys, Beth, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Always a good time.
Yeah, Levin, mate. Looking forward to the weekend. Cheers for coming on, mate.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the mods and everyone in chat. It's been a good night.
Yeah, and Jordan, I'll see you at Old T on Saturday, mate.
Yeah, see you at Old T. Guys, tomorrow, 1 o'clock, I'm on the United Stand Instagram. Make sure you jump on and come and say hello.
Check it out,
I might jump on.
Yeah,
I'll jump on again.
Are you on tomorrow
you
on the show?
Pardon?
Yeah. Are you on tomorrow as well? Another show, Levin, as well, mate?
Yeah, probably. You guys will see me around the weekend.
Always.
Always.
For now, guys, we're confident we're going to smash Newcastle. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you over the weekend. Bye-bye.